Shalom, everyone. My name is Cody Baynard, and today I am going to be discussing my thoughts on the latest record from Hubris titled The One Above. Hubris are an ambient post-rock group from Switzerland who have been releasing some very well-made records starting in 2015. Their debut album, Immersion, was a very solid first effort, but since then the band have been maturing, improving, and experimenting with themselves and really forming, I think, their own personality within the realms of post rock. For the way that they use progressive tinged elements that are somewhat reminiscent of bands like Meniscus and even at times feel weirdly reminiscent of bands like Animals as Leaders, really add quite a bit to their own personality. I really enjoyed records such as 2017's Apocryphal Gravity and 2020's Metempsychosis, which released right when the world shut down due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And so 3 years and one pandemic later, they released their fourth studio album, The One Above, and it is, in my opinion, their best work so far. Everything that made Hubris such an enjoyable and solid band on past records is still present, still intact, but is also much more refined and much more mature on here than on, I think, anything else they've done previously. For this record is made up of four massive epics that range from 9 minutes to 13 minutes. And all four of these tracks don't overstay their welcome in the slightest as they slowly build and develop to huge crescendos in incredibly captivating ways. Now, don't get me wrong, the whole build, crescendo, soft, loud structure of post-rock is very overdone, used by so many bands, including Explosions in the Sky, Mono, Godspeed You Black Emperor, This Will Destroy You, F, etc. Which is why I've been lately finding quite a bit of post-rock, at least that I've heard, to be somewhat tired out, kind of stale, not really all that new or provocative in any way. The way that Hubris execute these types of sounds in itself isn't anything all that truly new or special either. However, the devil is in the details in the way that they execute these sounds, making for some of the most emotionally captivating and rousing post-rock pieces that I have heard in recent memory. The opening 13-minute title track is a perfect example of what I mean right off the bat. For we begin with these melancholic ambiances before the ambience swells up as we get these very tight and semi-proggy drums. There's already a sense of cinematic urgency to be found here, and the band sort of build on this momentum with extra layers of melodies before we get to the first big drop. And from here, you can really tell just how good the production is. Holy mackerel. Not a single issue can be found in terms of the mixing, mastering, or anything post-production wise, in my opinion. Everything sounds crystal clear and clean, yet also very warm and inviting, creating a very futuristic and immersive atmosphere that perfectly fits like a nighttime drive. Admittingly, the following three tracks after this first one follow a pretty similar formula, where we have some more slow builds and crescendos, but again, they very clearly put a lot of extra effort into including various little details in the songwriting, which makes their music all the more provocative and all the more beautiful. For example, towards the second half of the track of Lights, which was the album's lead single, the band includes some very jazzy chord progressions that are unpredictable yet flow very beautifully. And the following track, which is misleadingly titled Shade and Gloom, is a really uplifting number. We start off very strong with these really beautiful melodies combined with some proggy grooves before the song decides to switch into the 6/8 shuffle rhythm and switch to major key. And I'm not joking. Pretty much every time those melodies build and swell and climax, it gives me goddamn goosebumps. It's truly quite a magical part of the album. And it only gets better from there because the closing track, Beneath Authorize, I think is how you pronounce it. I apologize if I'm butchering that name, is, in my opinion, the best track on the album. We start off with this kind of strange off-kilter groove. The kick seems to be just slightly off all the time, but very consistently slightly off. So it definitely adds a sense of, I guess, rhythmic intrigue. Following that, we have some really beautiful arpeggiated guitar work that, again, kind of feels like it wouldn't be too out of place on an Animals as Leaders album, although here it also applies perfectly. Then we get a slight time signature switch up to what I think is 6/4, followed by a very seamless and very an interesting key change, and some really beautiful chord progressions and melodies. And like all of the other buildups found on here, this following, like I think around 5 to 6 minute long passage is hypnotic. The band just very clearly know how to make these slowly building and swelling passages so goddamn captivating that you just get lost in it. You're just entranced by the repetition, and the repetition isn't too patience testing either because they have such an incredible sense of pacing. All of this leads up to the songs as well as the entire album's main big finale. And what a finale it is. Every single time that drop comes in a slightly offbeat manner, because Prague, why not? It is an incredibly cathartic and exciting moment, and I find myself headbanging to this finale so freaking much. Admittedly, after that, we have this short little ambient interlude, followed by yet another crescendo that also leads to a fade out. And fade outs in general aren't really for me, but I'm not too bothered by that. Hubris really show that in post rock, you really don't need to be that groundbreaking to make something truly special because they just rely on really thoughtful songwriting and pacing, and everything feels like it is written in a very genuine and an emotionally honest manner. The album is also incredibly concise. Like, it is 45 minutes long, made up of only 4 tracks, and it does not need to be any freaking longer, resulting in what is honestly my personal album of the year so far. I've been listening to this thing quite a lot over the course of the past week since it was uploaded to YouTube thanks to Where Post Rock Dwells, and my feelings on it have not changed in the slightest. If you love post rock and you haven't checked this thing out yet, please do so as soon as you can, and I mean that. And so, yeah, those are my thoughts on the latest Hubris album. What did you think of it? If you've heard it, please feel free to discuss your thoughts on it down below, as well as any constructive criticism on my own review. And of course, please feel free to like and subscribe and comment, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.